What's up, guys? As y'all know, on Thursday night, I was sadly evicted from the Big Brother house. So I'm back. I'm in Kentucky right now visiting my family. But I wanted to open this up for questions, let y'all ask something about me or about my experience on Big Brother, and I'm going to try and get to as many as I can, so let them rip. So as you guys know, I'm super passionate about fitness, and so I'd love to do something in the fitness community. I would love to start doing online personal training, group Zoom workouts, something along those lines. I'm trying to build out a program right now that I can do, but let me know if that's something you guys would even be interested in the first place. I don't know if CBS would want me back because I literally got 17th place, but if they ever reached out and wanted me to go on an all-star season, I would drop whatever I'm doing to do it. It was a great experience, and I would love a little bit of redemption out there and see how far I can actually make it. So the actual day-to-day living in the house was easier than I expected. I thought we were going to have a ton of downtime and just be bored all the time, but it was actually like the days went by really fast. We were always busy just chatting with each other, and it was super fun. The actual gameplay itself was harder than I expected. To actually convince people to keep you in the game when everyone's trying to convince them otherwise is really hard. So this is probably one of the most common things that I've seen circulating about me on social media is about my sexual orientation. I am straight. I know I like to wear short shorts and my hair's dyed, so a lot of people, because of that, think that I am bisexual or gay, but I am not. I am straight. I like girls. Yeah, this is something that's been driving me crazy, is constantly thinking about what I could have done differently on the show to stay in longer. But I'm trying not to sweat about it too much. I think, in a general sense, I think making better relationships and talking game a little bit earlier, especially with the girls, would have helped me out a lot. Because, by the time I was on the block, some of them I had never talked game with. And so I was playing a little bit of catch up from the beginning. My experience on the show was everything. I loved it. I would recommend to anyone. How did I get on the show? I actually applied for the Amazing Race with one of my best friends, Sammy, from Survivor 43, and they reached out to me from there, and I started going through the Big Brother process. And I never watched the show, but when I started watching it, I was like, this is something I could totally see myself doing, and I would love to do. And so, that was in April. I started going through that process. Hey, thank you, man. I was always trying to stay fitted up, looking nice for y'all. But I actually don't have a favorite cologne. Right now, I'm using Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue is the one I have right now. But honestly, I always switch it up. Anything that smells kind of like masculine, clean, or good, I like. So that's like 99% of colognes. I'm not too picky. Honestly, pretty much everyone in that house was super awesome. And I grew to love just about everybody in there. But I would say the people I clicked with the most was definitely Zach. Was probably number one, and then Keanu and Riley I also loved. Even though Riley voted to evict me, I still love that guy. Yeah, no crazy beef with Rachel. Honestly, we were fine up until that last night. We had a little bit of a fight. I didn't want to involve in it. I wish the show had done a better job showing the full encounter, because it was pretty obvious that I didn't want to argue with her, but she kind of just almost put me in a place where I had to. But that being said, I felt like it was also in my best interest because people were going to vote me out because I was a threat, apparently, even though I won no competitions. But so I wanted to put a bigger target on her and say, hey, I'll stand up to her. And so it's not like in a personal level I had any issue with her, but it's more of a game sense. If I made her a bigger threat than me, then maybe people will keep me in long enough to where I battle it out with her. Was kind of the route I wanted to take towards the end there to try and, stay in the game a little bit longer. So if I would have won HOH this next week, I would have nominated, obviously, Rachel. I think I would have nominated Jimmy as well, because I knew he was kind of hedging his bets, playing both sides, telling me he was going to, vote to keep me in. And I knew he was lying just from other people and kind of what was circulating around, even though I asked him straight to his face. And then the third one would probably have been whoever I feel like would help me get Rachel out. So one of her close allies, maybe Amy if she was still in the game, maybe Morgan. I'm not exactly sure exactly who. It's hard to tell how it would play out because there's so much changing every hour in the game. Honestly, being in the house was so fun and so awesome. Obviously, it's a little bit hard to not be with my homies, not be with my family, not on my phone. But for the most part, I didn't think about it too much just because I was having so much fun in the house. It was so exciting. Everyone, including myself, just thought it was super funny. Very well written, very well, the delivery, 10 out of 10 on Jimmy's, little speech there. Keanu's reaction was funny. Just the whole thing was funny. And everyone was like, oh, it's definitely making the episode. And it did. I didn't do the best job building relationships with the girls, but also the girls were kind of trying to make it a gender thing where it was like girls versus boys, and they had the numbers. And so Kelly already knew she was kind of on the outs with the girls. And so she didn't try and really vote with them. She wanted to vote kind of more against them and make it to where it's not as much of a gender game. So it's kind of funny. I actually never lived in Arizona. I was there for like 2 weeks before flying out to LA just for a work trip. And so that's when I did my intro video. And so they had to say Arizona because that's where they were filming it. But I actually never lived there. I was literally in an Airbnb where they filmed everything. And so I might go back for like another sales trip, maybe like if I do, another door to door, like little blitz for a week or two. But I never actually have lived in Arizona. But my time there, my 2 weeks there were awesome. Hey, thank you. I do not think, unfortunately, that there will be battle backs this season because the house already started with 17 house guests. Usually when they do that, it's when they start out with only 13 or 14 house guests. So it was super sick being around so many people from so many different walks of life because I haven't had too much exposure to that in my life. And so it was really cool to hear people's stories, hear how they grew up, hear their perspectives of everything. And it was really like eye-opening to me, and it was really awesome. It's actually kind of funny because honestly, when I was in the house, it didn't feel like I was being recorded. Like you just kind of get in a conversation. You don't really think about the cameras. You forget you have a mic on. And so it just kind of feels like you're just hanging out with your friends, having normal conversations. You're not being filmed at all. I would say my favorite moment, honestly, was just sitting around and talking with everybody and sharing stories before the live cams were on. And it was such a great, fun time that you guys all missed out on. But it was amazing. If I could choose anyone to win, I would say probably Zach. I mean, he's my boy, or maybe Riley. I feel like it would really change his life to win, which would be super sick to see. And who do I think will win? I think my money's on Morgan right now because she's laying low. Nobody really thinks she's a threat, but she's really smart, really athletic, and, really like strategic. And so I could really see her going a long way and doing really well. I honestly think it's more of just a funny joke on social media than an actual thing. If it is an actual thing, I've never heard of it like actually happening at BYU. So they were all just keeping it from me. I don't think usually it would be a big disadvantage to have one extra girl than a guy. But I think the way it kind of played out is because there's an extra girl, a lot of the girls were trying to keep the girls together. And so then it did end up being a disadvantage to me where I was trying to explain to the girls that it's not going to stay a gender thing, that they don't have to be scared to vote against the girls. But a lot of them were. They didn't want to be on the outs with the other girls. And so they voted with them instead of against them. So I'm not planning on going back to college at the moment, maybe in the future. But when I was at college, I was studying business management. And I think I have like 3 semesters left if I do go back. So I'm like almost done, but I don't really want to. I don't like school. Actually, no. Was in an alliance with Vinny. I trusted him a lot. He had a tough decision to make. Nobody wanted to, put up 3 people week 1. And so I wanted to work with him and not against him, make a friend instead of an enemy with Vinny, and, have that good alliance that I was hopefully able to hold on to for several more weeks. So production gets us all of our groceries. They leave them in the storage room once a week, and they kind of take note of how much we eat of certain foods so there's less waste, and they can kind of keep us with the foods that we enjoy. Yeah, so Keanu and Kelly both were right by me, and Keanu snored super loud, and it kept Kelly up the whole night, the first couple nights. And so they ended up getting him like nose strips, they ended up getting earplugs for her, and they did a bunch of adjustments because she couldn't sleep several nights at the beginning, and she was pretty frustrated. So they have shampoo and most hygiene stuff in the Big Brother house already, but if you care about brands, they say to bring your own. Yeah, so my nails are absolutely cooked, as you can tell. I've always bitten my nails since I was a little kid. I think it's probably because I have like ADHD. I'm really fidgety, and like I don't know. I don't even think about it sometimes. Like sometimes I won't think about it, and all of a sudden I look down and my nails are cooked and bleeding. And so it's a terrible habit that I have not been able to break. So I am like pretty much exactly 6 feet tall. I'm not one of those guys that's like I say I'm 6 foot, but I'm actually 5'10". Like I'm actually 6 feet even without shoes on. Yeah, it's kind of funny. So I would have ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. I would have ChatGPT like kind of do a breakdown of like people in each season and like what traits allowed them to kind of go farther and things like that. But honestly, what I learned from it is that every season is so different that there's not one set strategy or trait that's going to help you go far in the game. And so that's why I kind of came in without a strategy, wanting to just be adaptable. I feel like that was my best route to try and make it far, which obviously I didn't work for me. I didn't last that long, but yeah, so I wouldn't say I'm rich, but I'm really good at saving money and investing money. And so ever since I was young, I would never really like go out and blow money on like a bunch of stuff. I would rather save it and invest it. And so it's helped me over the years to be able to buy a few investment properties, and, you know, to make a lot of financial decisions to kind of help set me up to the spot where I'm in right now. But I'm definitely not rich by any means. Sequester was honestly as good as it could have been. Obviously, it's not super fun to sit in a hotel room by yourself without your phone or anything to do for, you know, a week and a half. But it was as good as it could have been. Everyone, all the staff were great, you know, hooking up with food, hooking up with movies, things to kind of keep me busy while I was bored. So I learned how to speak Spanish when I was a missionary in LA area in like 2020 to 2022. I was speaking Spanish all the time. I was pretty much completely immersed. And so that's when I learned how to speak and I became fluent. So I actually didn't get in the pool because it was cold. I'd dip my feet in. I'd be like, nah, I think I'll stick to the hot tub. But the best cook I would say was Mickey and Morgan would kind of like tag team a lot of the meals. And then I was the sous chef. So I'd cut the veggies for them and they would kind of teach me what seasonings to use and stuff. Yes, Lauren was super cool. I told her I would be in alliance with her if I stayed. Obviously I didn't, but she was super cool. I taught her some boxing stuff and she was a really nice girl. I don't think anyone ever thinks that they're going to be the first one out, but somebody is every season. So it's kind of sad, but it's just one of those things that just happens and you got to live with it. So they would usually call us in, I would say once, maybe twice a day, just to get, you know, our take on certain things that have happened throughout the day. Or you could go in randomly whenever you wanted. I don't think I ever went in randomly. I would just wait for them to call me in. Cheer was super sick. I got a ton of free food. I got a ton of free clothes. It was fun to be down there, like in the environment, to like lead the cheers. The stunting itself was really hard, but it was really fun to learn a new skill. So I loved cheer. I would recommend it to anybody.